Let's go on through some of the other elections that we have tonight. Results now for House District 10, Marilyn Strickland and Keith Swank. And right now, 56% of the vote tallied with Marilyn Strickland. Again, I have to say, it looks like a pretty comfortable lead. At any point, guys, if I'm hitting on the wrong mark here, just feel free to chime in. But
are you surprised by these numbers?
Not at all, because Marilyn Strickland, former mayor, in Tacoma, I have to say also, she is the first African-American woman from Washington State and has really put together quite a team in D.C. To the point that she has actually been somebody that people look to in D.C. This is already a leader bee in terms of what we see going on. And they love her in the Tacoma and the whole District 10 area.
All right, for the State Senate District 42 race, Simon Sefzik and Sharon Schumach, I should say. And this is a race I know that both of you have been watching. So we've got Sharon here with 51% of the vote and Simon with 48% of the vote.
Why do you guys think this is such an important race to watch?
1,200 votes difference. So he was never supposed to get to first base on this one. And she is a university professor, and I kind of find that to be a respectful thing.
Well, let's back up a little bit. He's 23 years old, right?
Well, yes.
And he was appointed to the position, and maybe the Democrats thought they had an easy mark here by getting him into that.
We went out of our way to choose this young and to say, well, we can beat him. No big deal. He'll never raise the money. He won't work hard. Kid has just been charismatic. He's a character candidate as opposed to somebody who's running on issues and everything else. He's totally likable. He is somebody I hadn't expected to even want to talk to, much less consider a candidate. But he has done a heck of a job up there in Whatcom County. And Democrats tell me this guy is just amazing. He's raised $790,000. Where did he get that from? By opening his mouth in front of the right people, and he has just actually been.
Well, I mean, I feel like she's talking for the Republican Party there.
Well, I mean, he's a very likable senator, and you know, he's the state's youngest senator ever elected. You know, he's fourth youngest in the country right now. But he's also one of the hardest working you'll see in terms of knocking on doors and reaching out to voters. The thing is, right now, he's got 4 points to make up. And as I've been saying, we're seeing about half the vote has come in and have been counted so far tonight. There's still a couple of counties out, but not in this race. So what we're going to see, we've seen. And he's got a margin to make up. It's a little bit like in the primary where Republicans were behind in the initial results. A couple caught up, but not as many as we would have liked to have seen.
So if you guys are advising either of these campaigns right now, what would you be telling them? That they both have a chance?
I would be telling them that, look, what's here is 1,200 votes. That's not, this is for the 42nd district, which is one of the swing districts of our entire state. What you need to do is make sure every single one of those challenge ballots that you know that could be yours, make sure they get counted, which simply means you call people that are on that list, public list of the people who are the challenge ballots, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of, like, I want to say it's like 2,700 votes already there in Whatcom County. I would say do some hoofing, find these voters and get them in. And the other part is, I hate to say this, but as more votes come in of that remainder of the 50%,
they're going to lean Republican.
In Whatcom County, they are far more, they're older, they're more conservative, and there are people who vote all the time. They just vote late.
What are some of the issues and the platforms that he's running on?
Well, I mean, one of the big ones was on agriculture. You know, Whatcom County was devastated by floods last year, and he made that a big part of why he was going down to Olympia. The second one was he was the first legislator to propose suspending the state's gas tax, the 46-cent gas tax, to say, you know, during these inflationary times, let's give some of the tax surplus back to the people. Not a single Democrat would support him on that, and it never got a hearing in the legislature.
All right, well, we're talking about it because it's an exciting race, but a race that is really important and affects a lot of people is the race for King County prosecutor.
Yeah, so let's take a look at these numbers here. Jim Farrell and Lisa Mannion, and if we've got those numbers, we'll show them to you. But this is a big deal because not only is it the first time in 15 years that we would have a new prosecutor, but also the first time in, what, 58 years that a Republican would not be holding this seat.
Yeah, they're both Democrats, and Lisa Lisa Mannion sort of represents the status quo. Jim Farrell coming in. He used to work at the prosecutor's office, but 32% of the votes tallied here. So there are still a lot of votes out there. But asking the two of you, can the difference be made up? 12% right now.
Highly unlikely. I mean, this again, about half the vote in. That means he's got to flip a 10-point margin. That rarely happens countywide, and so
it rarely happens. But the interesting thing about it is that in King County, it's not necessarily those Seattle precincts that are late coming in. It's actually more of the outlining ones that are very much more
Farrell has a lot of
moderate.
support in South King County. Is that the kind of area you're talking about?
Yeah, he's from there, and actually he's a mayor from there. I have to say, 8% is my minimum. When I say if it's 8% or more, you might be hitting the road. But when it comes to this, I don't know. I took a look at this and thought to myself, yeah, but you know, King County is traditionally late on outskirts and anything that's going to be eastern King County. So I don't know. I would say Randy's probably right, but I have to say that also it's also because of the high Democratic turnout in King County that is really going to Mannion.
All right. Well, we will certainly see. I'm surprised that there's that big of a gap there too.
Yeah,
They both ran a very hard-fought campaign. Let's talk about Snohomish County prosecutor. Not as much discussion about this, but still equally as important. We've got Jason Cummings versus Brett Rogers. And let's take a look at the numbers now. Jason Cummings with a lead of, again here, we got 10% lead over Rogers, but only 36% of the vote tallied here. So as we talked about this makeup, still pretty significant there.
It is. Once it goes beyond into double digits, just you've got to flip it entirely going 2-1 the other way. And so unless it's an outlying county or a community that hasn't come in and had their votes counted yet, it's hard to see that type of swing after an initial time. So I would say that
It's
race
true,
would be
but
done.
I'd be willing to wait until we saw what is the result of the four most controversial Snohomish County open seat House races. If I were to see that most Democrats were winning those, which I'm not necessarily expecting, then I would say, okay, yeah, I would think that we're on the way to sort of knowing who our next is going to be. But I'm not sure about this. I would wait to see the rest of the actual turnouts because I think this one looks shakily premature.
Exercising caution. How about that?
All right. We just got a heads up that Senator Patty Murray is going to be speaking in just about 5 minutes. So we want to take one more look at the numbers for Washington Secretary of State Steve Hobbs and Julie Anderson right now. If we've got those numbers, let's throw them up and just kind of see where they're standing. So, wow.
Well, I mean, is this the surprise of the night? I mean, you guys just weigh in here. Hobbs with 50% over Julie Anderson with 46.9%. Hobbs was appointed the position.
Kathy, you look excited about this.
I do. I look at this and I think, well, if there's any place where let's say a 3.1% change could be influenced by the rest of the late votes coming in, yeah, it could be this one.
This is the write-in. I mean, remember, the Republican legislator Brad Clippert launched a write-in campaign here. And so I suspect that 3.1% is the write-in votes.
Yeah.
And if this holds and the combination is Anderson and Clippert over Hobbs, then the Republican Party will have delivered the victory to the Democratic Party in this race.